What is your top six? Now, this is an interesting topic. I'll tell you how it actually came about. I got a visit from a friend today, and we were chilling, talking about cricket, etc., on the couch, and we were discussing certain things with regards to the batting lineup, the way the Proteas played against Australia, etc. And there were a lot of topics coming up about what South Africa should have done in the past, where they went wrong with the transition period, etc. And yeah, we had a long debate. And then at the end, he asked me, what was my top six? If I had to come in at convener selectors right now and coach, and I was the coach of South Africa and I got given the job right now, and I could pick from anybody in the country, what would be my top six? So that's what I thought I could make the show about today and give you guys an opportunity to interact with me and let me know what you guys think, because it also gives me an understanding of where you guys are sitting with who's the best players in our country, etc., in the domestic scene. So I would like to see that, and I'm talking about everybody's fit, including the current squad that is in Australia right now. So I'm going to give you guys a little task to do. You guys can go ahead and phone in on the show as well if you want to give your say, and I want to hear your reasons why as well if you do call in and have the show. I don't want to just hear, oh, I want to see Yanaman Malan in the team, but you don't give your reasons on why it'll be better than what is currently there. So I would like to know what your thoughts are on this topic. I'm very excited about this because I like to hear what the fans think. But before we get going with this, before we get started, please, guys, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, what I would like you guys to do is get involved with the magazine. We have a digital magazine that is monthly. Issue one, two issues, whatever we're on right now, is 100% free. So please go ahead and download every single issue. It's 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And this is the latest issue with Marco Janssen on the front cover. I'm going to flash it on the screen for you guys. As I said, it's a free subscription, guys, and you get access to amazing information and amazing features that gives you guys not only entertainment but also teaches you something about the game that you maybe never knew before. And if you want to help South African cricket grow and you want to help us help South African cricket grow, please get involved with the Patreon account. You can also help us as a company grow so that we can deliver your messages to the public, and we can be the number one fan channel in the country. I'm hoping that we can end up being there, guys. Please help us get there. So go ahead and become a patron today. Also smash the like button, please, and comment and share. That's how we get noticed in other people's feeds. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all regular updates too. Thanks, guys. Let's get straight into today's video. I'm going to explain the rules and everything about the show next. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, I wasn't prepared to do a normal daily show for you guys this week because of the test series. I honestly thought it was going to at least get to the third day, hopefully. But now we've got a couple of days off to bring you some shows that are going to make you maybe think about things going forward, maybe think about the setup, etc. So what I'm doing today on the daily show is something different that I don't think I've done before. I'm having a call-in show, so you guys do have an opportunity to call in. But the show is about what your top six is as a cricket fan. As a coach recently, and you have full control over who you can pick in the top six. There's no constraints, there's no transformation, there's nothing. You can walk into the job right now and you can pick your top six. If transformation is your reason for wanting to pick a certain player, then by all means you can have that belief. I want you guys to come in on the show. I want you guys to call in, and I want you guys to say who your top six would be if you were in charge of the Proteas right now. And you can pick anybody. You can pick a under 19 or under 13 player if you want to. I don't care. The rules are, there are no rules, but the only rule is I want to know why. Once you say your top six, if you say you want to see Janaman Malan or you want to see Dean Elgar, I want to know your reasons why. That's if you call in on the show. you can by all means give your live your top six in the live chat too, and I'll read it out at the end of the show. But this is about getting very engaged with the fan base. But I'm going to bring my co-host on the show with me to join me on the show for this call in, and he can also help me with regards to navigating everything. Welcome back, Aditya. It's been a long time. How are you doing, brother?
Thanks, bro. It's been a while. And greetings to everyone from Mumbai. Yeah, I think the last time we chatted, I was in Leeds. So it's good to be back, and a lot of cricket for us to discuss, I suppose. It's been
Yeah.
quite a whirlwind of a test match in my view, and I think a lot is being said about the game, the performances, the pitch, and
Mm.
I suppose that's the ideal start to a South Africa versus Australia series, isn't it? Except for the fact that
Yeah.
the test match did not last 5 days.
Yeah, 2 days. I think they said something like it's the fastest ever test match in Australia or something like that. That's like it's crazy. So it's
Yeah.
mental that's taken place. But Aditya, let's get your thoughts on that game. What's your thoughts on that, and why do you think South Africa had issues that like they had, or the batters had issues like they had? What is your points on that before we move on to the topic again?
Yeah, honestly, whenever there's whenever a team is struggling and you have a tricky pitch like the one that we've just seen at the Gaba, there are question marks as to how many of the dismissals were product of the inconsistencies of the wicket, and how much of it was the fact that the batter is actually underconfident. Because you know we've been talking about the number of hundreds that the batters have scored over a period of time, and they're not that many. Um, and then on the other hand, we've got a pitch that no one's really been able to get a hold of. So what do you attribute it to? I think it's the next test match that will tell us, right? Because you
Mm.
know if in the next test match, if South Africa are not like, are 200 all out, then I guess the problems that we've been talking about for the last 2 years,
They're
they
still there.
continue to persist. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, either way, I think this is a good way to this show is a good way to sort of get our idealistic juices back on and hope
Hmm.
that you know someday there's this shining light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, so that means that I can try and draw some knowledge from you, Aditya. I know you know about the players in our system. If you had to pick a top six, what would it be and why? And you have anybody you can pick from. It doesn't necessarily matter if you want to keep the players that are there ready or not. So go ahead, have your say.
Um, okay, no particular order, I suppose. Dewald Brevis, Tristan Stubbs, Tony DeZorzi, Aiden Markram. These individuals would be in in any team that I pick. And in addition to that, Kyle Verena, that man is unbelievable. You know, to score that 60 was worth 120 on that pitch. Um, Kyle Verena would be on that would be in that lineup, and of course the great man Brian Rickleton, he has to be in there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, I see some of the guys picking top sevens. That's cheating. There's a reason why I asked for top six. I want to know our best six batters in the country. That's what I'm trying to find. What you guys think are the best six batters in our country. That's why I've asked you guys to pick a top six. Because I know it's very difficult then to leave people out. Okay. Aditya, you're going to help me navigate this particular chat. We're going to get our first caller on the show. We've got Stuart with us. Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome back again. Go ahead. Give me your top six. What if you had a free slate and you could choose anybody in the system right now to be a top six? What would it be and why?
Oh, I originally had a top seven, but you said that's cheating, so I had to cross a few names out at the last minute. Um, but I had Tony DeZorzi opening, then I had Jordan Herman as his opening partner. I thought he's quite young and he's performing quite well, and there's a lot of room for him to grow when he gets more experience. I had Janeman Milan at three. I know he normally opens, but he can bat. I think he's batted four as well. So I'd put him there. Then I put Ryan Rickleton, Carl Verena, and Dewald Brevis. And then I'd like to see maybe, I don't know, someone like, I don't know if it's Parsons who plays for Mattel, or George van Heerden, be slowly introduced into the team. I know they haven't necessarily been scoring a lot of runs, but I think they're guys who could be groomed for leadership roles in the future if you're going to go with a batting captain. So that's the way I went.
Okay, cool. So you taking out all this experience that is currently there, and you're starting fresh.
Yeah, I just look. I do like guys like Dean Elgar and all of them, but I would have Dean Elgar in the team if he was playing in the next Test Championship. But I thought if we're doing a complete reset, then you got to get someone like Jordan Herman. And I mean, he's played well in the 4-day comps and he's done well in the 1-day cup. So yeah, I'm a big fan of his. And I'm a bit annoyed, I've got to be honest, that Dewald Brevis hasn't been playing a lot of 4-day crickets, because I'd have liked to see where he's been batting there. But at the same time, I was chatting to my brother about it the other day, and he was actually saying to me, he's like, why hasn't he been selected? And I was like, well, if you think about it, he's not playing a lot of 4-day cricket. And he said, yeah, but AB also didn't play a lot of I don't want to compare it to AB and get that whole thing going again, but he's saying someone like AB didn't play a lot of domestic cricket before he made his international debut. So I don't know. It's yeah.
Okay. Okay, Stuart, thanks a lot for giving you your thoughts on this. And we'll obviously have another calling show and another panel show where you can join for a more long discussion. But thanks for giving me your thoughts. We'll chat to you soon, buddy. Enjoy your evening. Awesome. So just to reiterate what the rules are, Lawrence, I see you laughing in the comments here. Are we being realistic with the top 6, or are you getting a free hit? So ultimately, you're getting a free hit. But if you want to be realistic, you can. Because I want you to put your shoes in a new person coming into the role. And you now have the situation where we're sitting in and we don't know who we want to pick and we need to move forward in South African cricket. Do we keep some of the guys that are there, or this reset completely? So it's completely up to you. And I want to know why you are. So, for example, if you drop Dean Elgar, I want to know why you want to drop Dean Elgar, for example. Or if you drop Temba Bavuma, I want to know why, etc. So let's move on to the next caller. Actually, Aditya, what's your thoughts on Stuart's team, etc.? Do you think that the reset button needs to be pushed in South African cricket? What's your thoughts on that?
Look, in an ideal scenario, you want to have players who can sort of add that experience. You know, you have a completely inexperienced team. It's hard. You know, it takes time, and then of course, it's not like the public is still going to be very forgiving, right? If the performances are not coming through with a team that we're hopeful about, but doesn't perform to the potential that we know it can. So ideally, you do want a combination of experience and youth. But having said that, if your experienced players are not able to perform at all, then I don't know what choice you're left with. So,
yeah, interesting points, Aditya. Okay, we're going to move on to the next caller. We got Liathe with us. Welcome to the show, buddy. You know the question. If you had to pick a top 6 and you're in full control and you could pick anybody, what would you do and why?
Hey, gents. I just wanted to ask, is it just the top 6 or top 6 and people on the bench?
Just top 6. If you had to pick a top 6 that you feel is the best top 6 in the country, that you want to take, that could take us forward.
At this point in time, it's Dean Elgar, Eddie Moore, Keegan Peterson at 3, Rickleton at 4, Temba at 5, and Khalid at 6.
Okay. I would like to hear your reasons. Give me your reasons on why you think that Dean Elgar and Eddie Moore could be a perfect partnership. What's your reasons for picking Eddie Moore and dropping Cyril, Elgar, etc.? What is your thoughts?
Okay, so a left-left opening batting partnership in Test cricket is actually the most successful one, rather than a left-right one. So your best bet is actually picking your 2 best left-handers. And Eddie Moore has got a superior SAA record to Cyril Avia and a superior first-class record to Cyril Avia. And he's younger. So, and I also feel like he's more complete in the sense that there's less obvious ways to take him out. So I think that's why he's a better bet at opening.
Interesting.
And then
okay, explain number 3.
Oh, number 3, Keegan hasn't had. Sure, he's had a few test matches, but he hasn't had as long a run to actually get himself bedded into the position. He was still one of the better batsmen before he got injured. Might as well give him the rope.
That's nice. I like that answer. Okay, move on. And for the other positions.
Ryan Rickleton, Aiden Markram, and Kyle Verreyn are the 3 best batsmen in South Africa according to their first-class records. And if you look at how they do in SAA, representative cricket, you give your best players the best chance of succeeding. So that's why they're all in. Well, not Aiden yet. Aiden can work his way back into the side. He's one of the guys that I have in the periphery. But you pick your best players overall, and then you see where they go.
Okay, I'm interested now to hear. I'm intrigued to hear what your bench is. Just give me a couple of guys that you maybe think is on your bench. I would like to hear some of them.
Okay, so my 4 guys on the bench are Aiden, Zubair Hamza, Tony Dozorzi, and Bettingham. Yeah, I nearly forgot about Bettingham, which is like the typical thing when it comes to South African cricket. But yeah, those are the 4 guys on the bench. They are basically, because the thing is about all 4 of them is that they've had multiple years of success. 3 of the 4 have succeeded at SAA level, which means they've actually played against a higher level of bowling compared to domestic bowling, just because it's that next step up. One of them has a 50, Hamza. Markram has test hundreds. And then obviously Bettingham is someone who probably should have played SAA cricket by now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
my thought process.
Okay, excellent, Liathe. That's some excellent comments over there. We'll chat to you very soon, bro, on the next call out show. Have a great evening, bro. Okay, we're gonna move on. Aditya, some excellent pointers over there. I think that it's a nice balance of experience and youth there. It gives a nice transitional phase into the next generation. What has been your take on Elgar's captaincy? Are you one of the guys that are sitting there thinking he talks a lot of sense in the presser but doesn't back it up, or are you on the fence in a way with regards to where he is as a captain?
Look, I think a captain is as good as a team, right? So, if South Africa is scoring, 400 runs consistently, and the bowlers are able to take 20 wickets consistently, Elgar suddenly becomes a good captain, right? And irrespective of his tactical acumen, they're able to do the job more often than not. And the last while that they have been struggling, particularly in the batting department, he's been coming up a bit short, I suppose. So I don't think Elgar's a bad captain necessarily, but I think at some level you can try your tricks as captain, but it may not always work. Look, I think Faf was a phenomenal test captain, right? But you look at Faf in Australia in 2016, and the team performs, he looks brilliant. You look at Faf in 2019-20, when they lose to England at home, and suddenly there are question marks, and everyone wants him out. So it's just that individually you can be a very good captain. You can be a very good people's person as well. You can be a good manager of your team, but ultimately, your performances have to have that substance.
100%. Okay, we're gonna get our next caller on the show. We've got Sadiq with us. Welcome to the show, brother. So I know you know the rules, but to the guys that are just tuned in, we're giving you guys an opportunity to if you were the coach and you were the selector, basically the one role, and you got free reign to pick right now in the country, a top six that you think is our best top six. You can pick anybody from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It only has to be South African players, of course, but anywhere you can pick from and who you think your top six will be. So, Sadiq, who do you think is yours? What would you pick as your top six and why?
Well, I won't say that it will be the best top six, because for looking at future, I think you should pick someone who you think that has a potential to serve South Africa for long periods of time. And I don't know. I mean, South African top batters have always come to the team as a at a younger age than what we are doing right now. We are basically picking senior players from the domestic circuit, which are consistent failures, or we can say that who improved over time. But basically, when we pick good players, the superstars for South African cricket have always come from the younger age. So
Mhm.
my top six will be, I think it will be Jordan Herman. I know that this is his first season, and it could go and backfire as well. But I think it's time that we should not. I mean, we should pick players who are confident enough and who have the confidence on their side. So my openers will be Jordan Herman, and then the second opener will be Tony D'Souza slash maybe I think I'm not sure when Tonda, if he can produce and score runs outside Bluefin 10, which is probably not happening right now. So
He did.
yeah,
He scored 100 at Newlands, boy. He scored 100 at Newlands. I was so happy. I was waiting for it. I was crossing my fingers. He did it. He managed to score on a difficult wicket against difficult bowlers at Newlands. He scored 100. So I was very happy for him. But okay, cool. So you said Tony D'Souza, Jordan Herman as your two openers.
yeah, and backup opener will be Ryan Ventonda. And at number three, I would like to have Keegan Peterson, but I will not shoe in on him basically because I will have a backup in Zubair Hamza as a number three. And my number four will be, I mean, I would like to have like someone like Adrian Markram or Dewald Brevis, but I mean, we need some players in a test team which really want to play test cricket. I don't think Aiden Markram really wants to play test cricket anymore. He does not look like liking it or loving the test cricket. So I would not have Aiden Markram or Dewald Brevis basically because I think he has not debuted in 4-day cricket. So my number four will be Mitch Van Buren from Lions, I guess. He's playing
Okay.
for Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually won a
My
game
number
for the
four
Lions
will be
recently. Yes. He literally just won a game for the Lions the other day.
Yeah, my number four will be Mitch Van Buren, and number five will be Ryan Rickleton. And I would also consider him as a wicketkeeper batsman because I will not shoe in on someone like Kyle Varine for. I mean, he has scored in the last Test match, but he has not been consistent enough, and his technique is found out. I guess he does not move his feet. So I mean, I don't know if he can produce at the higher level. So I would have Ryan Rickleton maybe as a wicketkeeper bat at five, and I will try and get someone like Vian Mulder at six if he can add that value. And I don't think that mm, someone like Marco Jensen is your number seven. So I will probably look at the other player who can maybe who's a spinner, someone like Bryce Parsons. I don't know. He has not produced enough, but someone who can bat and bowl at number seven, and then
Mm.
have my four. That would be my 11.
Excellent, Sadiq. Okay, excellent points. Thanks a lot for calling on the show. I've got a couple of callers to get through as well. Some excellent points made over there. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next caller. It's gonna be very interesting because he's now
Can
soaked
I
up a lot
can
of
I just say
knowledge.
can I say
Yeah.
one thing really quickly? The thing is, I appreciated everything that Sadiq said, but one thing that all of us should keep in mind and um, is that is that players struggle in one format, but they're good in others, right? And we should now. There's more and more evidence coming out that that's a product of scheduling and the fact that players simply don't have enough preparation time to be able to switch between formats. If you read if you read Shane Watson's books, you read players who have switched, who have become specialists in their formats, red ball or white ball. There is evidence to suggest that when they focus on that one format, they really excel in those formats. And switching between formats is difficult. You take a player that is currently playing at the international level. KL Rahul is a prime example of that. Back in 2018, he was dropped from the test team. He was struggling, and he was smacking it from ball one in T20 cricket. Today, he is more conservative in his white ball game early on, and that has served his test game well. So he's playing really well in test cricket, but he simply isn't able to get those strike rates high enough in T20 cricket, at least in the early parts of his innings. So there is evidence to suggest that. And I think if there's one player that has really suffered from that in the South African context, it is Aiden Markram. I don't think he wants to quit test cricket altogether. The fact
Yeah, I
is
don't
that
think
he's
so.
really
Not from when I
struggling.
spoke to him. Yeah, not when I
Like
spoke to him
he
recently.
like he's really struggling with the clogged scheduling and the fact that the guy simply does not have enough time to switch between formats. And it's something we need to talk about a lot more because there are more and more former cricketers who are coming out with this information.
Mm.
And Shane Watson is
Sounds like
certainly
a
one of
good
them.
topic. Sounds like a good
Yeah.
topic for tomorrow or Wednesday. We can actually elaborate on that a little bit more, teacher. Let's get on the next caller. This guy's is a seasoned cricket fanatics guy, So he's actually cheating here because he's coming here with extra knowledge. No, I'm just joking. Ashwani, welcome to the show, brother. Your top six, bro. What would you go with, and why are you dropping the guys that you're dropping?
Yeah, first of all, I will criticize this Gaba pitch. I think the wicket that Brisbane cricketer had made, Cavill Mitchell Jr., his name, I think he's the best curator in Australia most of the times. And he rated as obviously the best curator. But I am very shocked the green mamba he's made at Brisbane. I don't know what's the reason, but I think two reasons which I think they make this wicket. One is that the epic test series between India and Australia, which made some doubts in the minds of Australians that normally the Brisbane wicket is very very good for both batsmen and bowlers, and it gives the ample chance to both the players to perform there. But I think that makes the doubts on their mind. And the second is that the recently concluded their ICC T20 World Cup. The World Cup, which is happened in the Australia, so many matches are also played in Brisbane. So I think so. The square is you can say that it's going to be abrasive. So that's why the creator leaves the grass on it. So these are the 2 points. Or maybe the third one is that they intentionally made that green wicket to see South Africa's weakness in their batting. So I saw that. In otherwise, that guy Kevin Mitchell Jr. is a good curator and he makes best wickets in Australia. So I think ICC should look at this wicket and it should get you say poor rating. And because these types of wickets are not suitable for Test cricket. Test cricket needs equal competition between bat and ball. And for your question, I think my top six, I will like to see most of the South African domestic players. I don't really watch that much, so I really can't comment it. But the somewhat highlights what which I watch them. So I would like to see Tony De Zorzi in the squad because he looks me a very good compact player. And the one guy which I also want in the first test, that is Henrik Klassen. Main reason because Henrik Klassen, the type of technique that the guy has, obviously if you he sent him at number 3 or 4, he may be suspect at that. We need South Africa need that guy uh, in that position which Travis Head is doing for Australia at number 5, because the ball gets little bit older there, and you need that guy who can take on the bowlers, and Henrik Klassen is that excellent option for you. I think Henrik Klassen should South Africa should use at 5 and 6 with the combination of Kyle Verreynne and Henrik Klassen, because if you look at Verreine's techniques, he don't use his footwork that much. So at number 6 is very suitable for that position. And I would like to see Henrik Klassen at 5 and 6. And the other player, obviously Ryan Rickelton, he's excellent in domestic form, and whatever his issues with regards his fitness, he looks excellent. And the last player which I want certainly in the team, that is Vian Mulder. Obviously,
I
I'm a
knew it.
big fan of
I
him.
knew it. I knew it.
Big fan of him, and yeah, he gives that obviously we all know that he's not performing up to his potential. So I would like to see Vian Mulder. He's I think he's contracted with County this year, and I would like to see him perform for the County, and made his strong comeback in the Test playing 11, because he gives that balance option which I think South Africa is lacking. And if you pick out of the box, I think that is Zubair Hamza. Zubair Hamza is, I think, he's facing that ban issue, and I think whatever I saw in his technique, I think is if you look at his technique, is technically looks more sound than most of the current South African batsmen is playing. He has the game to play, I think, in the subcontinent conditions as well, and obviously in the wicket which get bouncy, because he's brought up in South Africa as well. So I think Zubair Hamza is out of the box option, and other players I didn't watch that much, so I can't comment on that.
Okay. Ashwani, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving
Thank
me
you
your
so
top
much.
6, bro. We'll chat to you very soon. I know you come on a lot of the shows. Okay, let's continue. I just want to say one thing. You know, the pitch debacle. I've seen, Lawrence actually asked me earlier on in the question. I think he asked me a question earlier on saying, I can't remember if I saw it, if I'm mistaken here. Khalid, oh, here we go. Khalid, I've been seeing a lot said in the SA media regarding the pitch, etc. I think that's a bit rich coming from SA after the type of wickets we prepare for subcontinental sides. I agree with you. I think it's a weak excuse because it doesn't matter where we've batted over the last 2-3 years, we've struggled. With some continental pitches, then we complain that some continental pitches. When we're playing in a swing conditions, then we're complaining about the pitches over there and the conditions that we're not used to playing swing conditions. So we always have some sort of excuse on why we fail. I think they need to find a way on how to adapt their game plans to the situation. But the only way you can do that is if the batters already feel confident within their game plan. You can't ask players that are not confident within their own game plan to now adapt their game plan. I often tell people, you learn something, you take all the information as is. You then take it in and you try and see what the reasons are that it's successful, that person. And then you adapt to yourself. You adapt it to yourself and how you're going to use it. But if you are still in the learning phase, trying to figure out your own game, it's very difficult for you now to make adaptations to it because you don't really know where you are in your game. And I felt that kind of happened to Aiden in a way. He started his career on ground running. He was doing nothing wrong. But when things started to get tricky for everybody, he didn't know who to turn to for advice, because when he was in form and everything was going slap bang, people were looking at him and what he was doing. But when he switched it, when he was the one who formed and everybody else was struggling in all those difficult conditions, there was nobody to turn to in the dressing room for him to get that advice from. So that's why I say it's very important that those things have to be taking place. I don't think that the pitch is a good excuse. I think that if you batted in a certain way on that pitch, a little bit more attacking, didn't move your feet too much, it was a lot. It was on display there for you. Or it was there for you to hit. You could see the other way Kyle Verreynne played, and you could also see by the way, what's his name, Aditya?
Travis Head.
Travis Head batted. So you could see that the way they approached their game was a lot more attacking, a lot more aggressive, and they never really moved themselves out of position too much. They trusted their defense, they trusted their game plan, and they trusted their leave. Leaving is also a good shot to play when you're playing Test cricket if the pitch is difficult. Read the conditions, see what others have done. I felt like there was a lot of soft dismissals in this test on both sides, in my opinion. There were a couple of wickets that were phenomenal, but majority of them, I feel there was some soft dismissals. Okay, let me just get into the comment section quickly, Aditya, and just see what some of the guys have said about their top six. So Pinar van Wyk says Elgar, Evia, or in brackets the Zozi, the brain in brackets KP. This is cheating, guys, because you literally just named everybody that you know. Okay, Wayne Stevenson. I don't think anyone in the squad will drastically improve the top six. I'd rather just go with the same top six and let them take responsibility. Otherwise, give chances to Rickert De Zorzi van Tonde. Excellent answer over there. Of course, he says, still so confused on why we can't try Janaman Malan in the squad. I mean, the guy is not getting any younger and he's scoring in 4-day cricket too. With what has transpired in the first test, I would assume that MCG would also be rather greenish. Maybe not as much at the Gaba, but there will be grass. I'll play 7 batters, 3 seamers is enough, says Lawrence. So my top 7, he says, will be Elgar, Ewe, Rassi, Pavuma, Tony, Zondo, or Tienes de Brain, Klaassen, and Kyle. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We've got Wayne Stevenson saying Elgar, De Zorzi, Van Tonde, Markram, Bavuma, and Mulder, and then Vanena at 6. Swap the 2 there, guy. And then you have your top 6, and then you have your all-rounder. Maybe if you want to stick to the rules. Marwan Kriel says the Zorzi, Markram, KP, Nick, Rickleton, and Tennis and Carl. We've got Chatil saying the Zorzi, Elgar, Peterson, Pavuma, Rickleton, and Carl. Cool. Sticking to the rules there. Carl says for the MCG test, which was not the question for the show, but I'll read it anyway. Elgar, Evia, Tienes de Brain, Rassi, Bavuma, Zondo, Carl, Janssen, Rabada, Ngidi, and Nokia. Gorav says Elgar, Aiden, KP, Ryan, Temba, and Carl is his 6. Let's move on. West Indies test, he says, give some guys a chance. Sorry, Carl says Elgar, De Zorzi, Peterson, Markram, Rickleton, Pavuma. Yes, guys, I'm not saying that you guys that South Africa should do what you guys are suggesting. I was just trying to figure out where you guys' heads are with who's in line for the positions. If you had that free reign, what would you actually do? Because it's easy, because we see a lot of names being thrown around. Oh, Tony Zozi should be playing. Oh, Zubair Zamir should be playing. Oh, this person and that person and this person has been playing. By the time you name all the names that you mentioned that should be playing, you're sitting with the top 25. You're not sitting with the top 6. So that's the problem that we're having at the moment, because you're just throwing names out there. Justice is Ryan Rickleton, Temba Bavuma, Keegan Peterson, Tony De Zorzi, Riza Hendricks, and Carl Verreynne. Interesting one over there. Let's see some more over here. Well, the comments are coming in quite quickly here. Smash the like button, please, guys. Please, please, please. Is that the final one that I got? Aiden at 4. Why is he not backing? He's one of the most quality batsmen in CSA. They've been backing him for quite some time. He's been very, very off form. Herman, De Zorzi, Brandt, Keegan, Hamza, and Ryan van Tonde at 3. Van Buren, Temba, Ryan Kals, Mulder Parsons. It's been very difficult for you to explain why you picked the players you played, because you picked so many players in different positions. Chusta says Elgar, KP, Pavuma, Riza Hendricks, Rickleton, and De Zorzi. Wow. Taking that information in, Aditya, what this did teach me is that there are a lot of guys that are on the radar. Guys that are taking note, that fans are taking note of, which is a good problem to have. Like I said before, I would like to see South Africa make the right decisions when it comes to picking players. And I think that the best criteria at this moment in time, it can obviously change in the future, but at this moment in time, I think the best way to pick a team right now is to go with the guys that are converting at domestic level already, because then those guys are confident, those guys understand what it means to score big scores, and then they've cracked the code. They've cracked the code domestically. Now they get move on to the next level. I feel that if you haven't cracked the first level, how can you skip to the 7th level? Because that's actually what's happening currently. But Aditya, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's a lot of the same that we've been discussing over the years, and there hasn't been any real resolution, for the problems that we've talked about. Because see, and to someone who was, I think it was Lawrence who was talking about the pitch debate, right? Like, South Africa's batters have been of color for a really long time, and that is why on this occasion, when the pitch actually might have been troublesome, people have their reservations because they feel like the batting unit has not been firing anyway. How do we know it's the pitch
The
and it's
pitch.
not the batting unit?
Mm.
And
Good point.
and like that's the trouble, right? Because I don't know. I honestly don't know. I was having that conversation with somebody who just said that this pitch looks like a green mamba, as Ashwani very eloquently described. But and I honestly I didn't know what to say because felt like it was a very familiar scorecard to me. Where one batter is trying to save the lineup, where there are a lot of threes and fives and tens and 15s. And one sole batter was made like a 50+ score. So yeah, honestly, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what the solution is to these problems anymore because we've talked about the perfect team composition. We've talked about ways in which we've done magazine issues on this. So
Yeah.
we really have gone in depth. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Down with the
I
latest
guess
magazine, people.
team, the 11 that's selected for the next test. Please read our magazine. I don't know. Maybe that'll help. But yeah, honestly, it's a tricky situation because honestly, if the pitch really was dangerous, like the team has my sympathy. Like they really do, because it's like you're struggling anyway, and you've got this pitch in Australia as your pitch for the first test match. You know, so then I feel for them, but if that sympathy has to have any value, then I guess in the next test match, hopefully on a better pitch, they have to score 450 runs.
Exactly. So, guys, that brings us to the end of our conversation. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Aditya, shot a lot for joining us again. I hope I'm going to see you again in this week. For all the guys out there, please, if you're new to this channel and it's the first time that you've tuned in, please subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. If you want to help us grow and promote South African cricket, become a patron today. And if you want to help us grow as a company so that we can have more influence in the media business with regards to cricket, please get involved with the Patron account. It really helps us out. We rely on our patrons to run the show, guys. So if we don't have any more patrons, it's going to make us very tough for us to continue this. So please get involved with the Patreon account. And then go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Enjoy the rest of your evening and take care. Peace out.